Hey, get up.
Hola, Nicholas. Where is that Gibson?
Oh, we're in Bali.
Where's the homework, Mr. Gibson?
Uh,
Are you back from Bali?
no, we're still here.
What? You're supposed to, the vacation is supposed to have an ending and a beginning.
It's a mix.
Uh,
No beginning, no end. Can't ask.
14 unanswered vacations.
All right. What's the three famous tests of gold to confirm whether part of Buddha's teaching is genuine or not?
Cutting, burning, filing.
Cutting. Okay. So we go first with the say, okay? What is the say?
Burning.
Burning. All right. Uh, what's
Good.
burning is
Yeah.
relate to the part how to say it?
Your own direct perception.
Yeah.
Your own
Okay.
direct.
You're correct. Can you give me an example of the direct perception that we can confirm whether
You've seen it. You're like life is suffering. I have seen that myself.
yeah. Okay. And you also can see my me wear blue tie, right?
Oh
Yeah,
yes.
this
I
is
mean,
also one of the proof. And the example that Geshe Michael gave last time is whether this tea is spicy or not. And there's no other way that you can confirm except your directions, direct sense. So what's a Nguyen
direct. Direct.
direct? Yes. How about Tomagungyu?
Something that manifests visually. You saw with your own eyes, I guess.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
not only with your eyes, right? Because at first I also think that Tonga only limits to the sense of the eye. But last time I hear Geshe experience also can mean the town or the hearing, every sense you have. Okay, so it's
Sometimes it's the guy next to you on the airplane. Something
what does
other
that mean?
than
Okay,
sense, direct eye perception.
okay. So it's a obvious reality, something you can sense with your own sense
Good.
directly.
Nice.
Okay, how about the second test? What is the J?
Cutting.
Proxima.
Cutting.
Cutting,
Rebecca
yeah.
says cutting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But why I put the doom here?
I think he put it, right?
Yeah, because the other
He put,
sutra mentioned about it. The
yeah.
Nirvana Pramana?
Yeah, like smash by hammer.
Yeah,
Oh, describe the
different thing.
second test.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, okay. Cutting the goal, part of the teaching that cannot be thrown into question by your logical deduction. For example, it's illogical that a person will put a garlic in the India tea. So the English for pensun mingawa.
Pensum or pensun?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, there you go.
Mutually non-contradictory.
So what does that mean in this context?
Penta Migawa, doesn't that mean that they could work together? They could be together.
I guess.
It doesn't contradict logically what you thought.
Yeah, okay. So we can say that experience, right?
Logic.
Yeah, logic. Okay. So what is the Tonwa Gokyu?
Hidden
Nice.
reality. Hidden.
Not obvious seeing.
Yeah, not obvious. Can you give me an example?
My bank account.
Emptiness.
Thank you. like a fire and smoke, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So what is the last one? Da.
File.
Fire.
So change dar.
Did you
Okay.
did you forget a R? Isn't it BRDAR?
It could be.
Y-
It's a
Mhm.
Dapka, I think. You could say
Oh,
that,
the
yeah.
Damka. Okay, thanks.
Okay.
I think so. You can say
Yeah.
RDAR. Yeah.
So what is this referring to? We already have the direct sense, logical deduction. So what is the filing referring to?
Believing someone you trust?
Yeah.
You can't confirm or deny with your senses or with logic, so you have to go to an authority.
Authority.
Right.
Yes. So there's no other way that you can confirm with your own direct sense or logical deduction. And example would be if you're willing to share, you will get a fortune in the future. And
Nice.
yeah. And also Geshe gave example in the essay that if a person is give you some good restaurant in the past, advice in the past, then you can go to him,
Mhm.
trust him if you are
Mhm.
looking for the next restaurant.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is the 一切皆报?
Belief deduction?
Yeah. 一切 means believe, right? Or faith. But 一切皆报 is a logic based on the authority source. Okay. So what is the 동화 신도 꼭교?
Something which is deeply
Mm.
senses.
Okay. So this is the cost, right? If we couldn't confirm with our direct perception or our logic, we can only go into the logic based on an authority source. Okay, so this is filing. All right, second question.
Okay.
So the art of interpretation is mainly divided into two positions. One is based on the my only
Right.
position, and the other is based on middleway position. So please
Nice.
give the presentation that each school use.
Mm. Oh, you mean like the mind only would say that the third turning of the wheel is accurate
No,
and
they
the other two are figurative, and then the middle way
They
school.
use two texts. They rely on two text commentary.
What I really meant?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're called what I really mean.
Yeah. 都得公正, what I really mean. Yeah. I think
Nice.
my only school used the commentary of true intent. So how about the middle?
Yeah, the gong is DGONGS.
Mhm.
DGONG.
Okay.
And then
Yes.
saw at the end.
Yeah.
That's never-ending wisdom.
Nice. Yeah.
Non-ending wisdom. Yes. What is
Good.
Tibetan?
Yeah.
Oh, is that?
She said, I don't know.
Lord Drew Miss.
Lodru
Misepe Lodru?
Misepa.
Oh, okay.
Misepe Tempa. So
Huh.
these we are going to use these two books, two different positions to explain how can we interpret teaching from Lord Buddha.
Nice.
Okay. And we are going to treat the first one, the commentary of the true intent, to four parts. Please name the four parts. And I give you the hints here. The first one is
Oh,
Dodelang.
that's good.
Yeah. Galpong Chiu.
That's good.
Somebody asked the Buddha if he can clarify his apparent contradictions.
Mhm.
Oh, yes.
Nice. Nice
answer.
Nice.
So the question is seeking to explain the inconsistency in the sutra.
Mhm.
Nice.
And the next one is the land.
Yeah, the response to that above question.
Yeah, so the Buddha start to explain, answer the curve,
Yeah, good.
clarify the inconsistency.
Nice.
Okay. How about the third one?
Identifying the three natures.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, identify.
It
So that's
says identifying the nature of the three natures. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
3 more.
Mhm. No,
Okay, how about the last one? 대답이 줄배 둔슈바.
That's a very, very, very important word in Tongue. This line is very important.
a request for which one was correct. I mean, the asking Buddha which one
We
is
had
right.
it in CSP. We had it in CSP.
It is like the outcome of all
Yeah,
of
the
this
outcome.
process.
Nice. Excellent.
The
Yeah.
result
Excellent.
of the equation, the three nature.
Yeah. Nice. Nice.
Okay.
Very difficult
So,
phrase.
okay, let me see the translation.
Nice job, as usual.
Thank you.
Must be that terrible weather in Bali. You have to stay inside all day.
All right. So here's my student translation, Geshe.
Okay, I like it. But if you're going to put conquer in a sentence, you better capitalize it.
Okay. Can I read first?
Yes, please.
Okay. 종된 대기 추당제 ng원이 마치바 추당제 마게바 마가바 수만의 시원랑신 기용수량의 레데바 셰강가차올락다.
Nice. Yeah. Please capitalize conquer and make me feel comfortable.
Okay.
All right. Okay, good. But then the conqueror said it's impossible for anything in the universe to have a sometimes. But nice, that's good. Nothing in the universe ever started, nothing ever stopped. That's good. And from the very beginning, that's great for sumane, which is very difficult. From the very beginning, everything in the universe has been in a state of peace, has already gone to nirvana by its very nature. Excellent. Yeah. What's that?
By the very nature, should be by its very nature.
Yeah, you can say by its very nature. You can say that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But
So
it's
the
a
only
good
question
translation.
here I have here is what is the thing in a state of peace?
It's gonna come. I mean,
Okay.
you're gonna study it for 6 months, so don't worry about it.
All right.
By the way, when we had these teachings in person at in the special place, this phrase is repeated so often that you almost memorize it. It would be worth memorizing. Okay, these are all code words for the art of interpretation. If you want to memorize something, memorize this, because it'll keep coming back. You'll keep coming back in your life over and over again. This paragraph, yeah, very, 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 very famous. This is the original question in Sandini Mochana Sutra. What the heck did you mean? Okay. This is the original question. Very nice to memorize. Okay. All right. What's next, Mr. Translator? By the way, your book finished yesterday.
Thank you, Geshe.
Yeah.
All right. Can someone in the house read this line?
Yeah. Hey,
I think
give me a
Lindsay.
number between.
Oh, okay,
Give me a
5.
Okay. Let's start with Lindsay. Make her suffer. Okay. Okay.
Comden,
Chom.
Chomden, Deki, Chila, Gongne,
Good.
Chudam, Ke
Tamche.
황제,
Tamche, Ngowo, Nima, Chipa, Chutamke, Ma
황제,
Tamche, Ma Kepama, Gagpa, Zud, Ma Ne, Shiwa, Rangjin, Gi Yongsu Ya ngan le dapa
Depa.
depa she sheka sel nam gi lakte.
Nice.
Mm.
Okay. Let's do the pieces. Gibson, jump
Okay.
the day key.
Oh, conquer.
Okay. I was wondering to myself, oh, conquer. What was it that you were truly thinking of? I like that translation. When you said it's impossible for anything in the universe, good, to have an essential nature of its own, nothing in the universe that ever started or stopped from the beginning. Everything in the universe has been in a state of peace. That's already gone to nirvana by its very nature. Nice. Okay, good. Yep. Yeah, the big word here, the big phrase here is chila gongne. Say chila gongne. What
Gongne.
the heck you thinking of? Okay, chila means what? And gong means, what were you really thinking of when you said all these crazy things? Okay. Okay.
Okay.
By the way, when we get to Tim's text, when we get further on in Tim's text, what's his text talking about nowadays? What's Tim's text talking about nowadays?
Tension.
Classical commentary.
Yeah, what's the difference between a classical commentary and a sutra? And normally you'd say spoken by an enlightened being or not spoken by an enlightened being. Okay. And then what's this book? He's quoting a book. What's this book? What's the book?
The commentary. It's a commentary, but it's by Lord Buddha.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's called a commentary on what I really meant. Okay. Is it a commentary? No,
Yes.
it's a commentary on what I really meant. Yeah, okay, good. And by the way, Chila Gong means, what did you really have in mind? Okay. What's Gong Barapsa? The illumination of what the Buddha really meant. And that's that huge book by Tsongkhapa, 2,000 pages in English. We just finished it. Took 12 years. Okay. Gong. So Gong is an important word. Gong. Okay. All right. Let's keep going.
I choose the 5. And can someone in the house read?
Okay. Lindsay's gonna choose somebody.
Okay.
Stanley.
Mhm.
You want to sit on this?
Hey, Gibson.
Hey.
Cursor.
춘덴데 기 칠라 공내 츠 단체 ngọbo ni mà chi ngọbo ni mà chi bà chơ tham che mà kẹp bà mà nggặp bà sơ mà chma sermani shi wa rang xin ki yung su mia ngen le ndepa xie kyang ka
God.
Gatsa.
kyang
Gatsa.
ga sawe dun de ni chun den de la ta yung su lakso se sun so.
Nice. Nice. Okay. Good reading. Chamnade, oh, conquer. Ki chila gongne. What was it you were really thinking when you said chitam che in the universe? Ngoni machipa. This word, I want you guys to focus on machipa. Okay. Say machipa. Machipa. So chi is a loaded word. It means possible. Chi, ancient word means possible. Okay. So machipa means, yeah. So, Buddha, why do you get up in front of 1,000 people and say everything's machipa? nothing's possible. Everything's impossible. Why? So that word is very loaded. It's an ancient word for existing. Okay, very, very ancient. So ngoni machipa, it's impossible for anything to have in nature. Nothing in the universe has ever started or stopped. It is from the very beginning. Say this third line, sumane, say sumane. Sumane. So there's another su, which means to be
A master
patient.
or patient?
Mastery.
BZOD, Paul San Sodasu, BZOD means patience, kshanti, which came into quiet. Ksha changed to kwa, which is why QU exists. So anyway, that means patience. This one means the very beginning of all time. Sama means the beginning of all time. Okay. And it's spelled differently, and he misspelled it in the last paragraph. Okay. Because people are so used to carving BZOD. Okay. All right. So sumane from the beginning of no beginning, because Buddha said he refused to answer the question, is there a suma? Yeah. You said from the beginning nothing exists, but then you refused to say there's a beginning or not. Yeah, okay. Sumane Shiva. And we're going to have to explore this idea, Shiva. Why? Why?
Because it could mean peace or it could mean dead.
Yeah. How can a person get up and say the universe has been peace from the beginning? What's that mean? I mean, last night we saw extraordinary performance by a group of people from a country that's people being killed every day. Those people that we watched dance last night are specifically trying to be murdered by somebody now, today. So, how can you say the world is peace, Shiva? Okay, Shiva. Yeah, that's even weirder, right? The whole universe is Nyanganle is nirvana sized. Okay, how can you say that? It's weird. It's a good question, right? It's a good sutra. The sutra opens with this frustrated student saying, I don't get it. Okay, Katselwe, for the right mistake. Yeah, you said or you pronounced or you. Ka means what? It can mean the command. It can mean the command of a king. So Katzel is a high word. You bespoke or you pronounced that everything's nirvana from the beginning, everything's peace from the beginning. What are you talking about? And then he uses the high honorific. What is the high honorific word here?
Lock? No.
Yeah, lock. Say lock. It's the ancient word for is. And that's rarely used in modern Tibetan, but they say Geshe is Geshe Lak, spelled this way, which means your isness or something. Okay, Shu Lakso, very, very, very polite. Shu means what? I'm offering you this question. It's like, hey, I'm not complaining, and I'm not criticizing, and I'm not even asking you. I'm just offering a thought. Okay. Like, what the heck did you mean? Okay. That's how this sutra starts. What's this sutra? What's the name of the sutra?
What I really meant.
Yeah. So it makes sense that the sutra starts with a question from a confused student. What the heck did you mean when you said nothing exists and everything's nirvana from the beginning? What are you talking about? Okay. Very, very famous. If you wanted to memorize something, you could memorize these two paragraphs, this paragraph and the last paragraph. They're not that long, and they're very, very, very famous. Okay. In the Geshe course, you get a prize if you memorize this book. It's very common for students to memorize the whole book. Okay. And they have to recite it in front of everybody. And then they get a free bag of sampa or something. Okay, next one.
Geshe, can I ask what is this
Yeah.
star referring to?
Yeah. Oh, dark here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm asking you. Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
I'm asking.
I'm asking you. Yeah, so this dark doesn't mean self-existent or anything like that. It means may I ask you? May I
Okay.
respectfully ask what the hell did you talk about? Okay. It's very funny. It's very, very funny, high honorific for a confused student. May I be so bold as to request an opinion about what the hell were you talking about? Okay. It's very funny in the ancient language. Okay, next.
So Geshe, I finished my translation, but
Okay, great. Okay, good job. It's a good job.
choose a few paragraphs that you asked me to verify the two different versions have any use of the word. And this is from the last class.
Okay.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
one of the paragraph.
We asked Gibson to check the sutra as it exists nowadays in the Kangyur, and he was comparing it to the way the sutra was quoted by Tsongkhapa, because the Kangyur was created just before Tsongkhapa. Tsongkhapa saw one of the first copies of the Kangyur at the monastery of, what's his name?
Bhutan Rinpoche?
Yeah, Bhutan Rinpoche, yeah. So he got there just after Bhutan Rinpoche passed, and he saw some of the first copies of the Kangyur and Tengyur. So he didn't always use the version that we see now. He was using sometimes other translations. So I asked Gibson to check any differences. Are there any interesting differences between them?
Yeah. This is from our last class, and he say, 대신 두 자네 덴방 랑키 체니. But the other version, he say, 종된 데키 낭장 두마 덴방 랑키 체니.
Yeah, quite different. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Deshin Jane is a comment by Tsongkhapa or somebody, he's just between the two quotations, he's saying, you also said this. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So this one
Okay,
is,
good.
you have a different sutra mentioned about it.
Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, that's pretty much. And
Okay.
here is have a choke here. Mitunbe choke. One is mitunba, one is mitunbe choke.
Yeah, that's a significant difference. That's something very interesting. Okay, good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Tsongkhapa had his own opinion about good translations, and he sometimes didn't agree with what was used for the Kangyur. So it's interesting to see his comments. And there does exist a Sanskrit, so it'd be interesting to see the difference. Okay.
Okay.
And his Sanskrit was quite good. He did study Sanskrit. We have records of his study Sanskrit, and so he didn't use it. He didn't push it on people, but he knew it well. Yeah. Okay, let's go to the rest of the suffering. Okay, you get up here. No, he doesn't want to get up there. Why? Let's do this. No, sorry. Let's share again. Yeah. What's going on? Share. Okay, I don't know why that's there. Does anybody know how to move that? You go here. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you can see
Blow it
those
up.
people. Yeah.
Here.
The last one. Oh, this one's good.
Okay, good. All right. Gibson check the differences. And is this the next paragraph, right?
Yes.
Okay, this is I'm going to cut it just to make it easier for people. Okay. All right. Who would you like to read, Gibson?
Doodle.
Okay.
디니 너때 카직도 최 탐제 어원이 매바 속수 손바다 카직도 퐁보라 속배 랑키 체니라 속바 유바 손바 니가 소샥 나 결낭
Good. Good.
No.
Thank you. Good pronunciation. The important phrase here that you guys haven't met yet in the last 8 years or something is Josh Sorshak. Say Josh Sorshak. So Ja means sound or word, and Sorshak means very rare, and it means if you leave it at the wording, Josh Sorshak. If you just take it on face value. Okay. If you just follow the words and you don't think about the meaning, so Das Sorshak is unique here and you haven't had it yet. Das Sorshak means if you look at the wording of those statements, gel.
They appear contradictory.
You contradicted yourself. Who?
Buddha.
Lord Buddha. Okay. So, go to the end of this sentence. It says, if we take it on face value, if we just look at the words you used, if we just judge from the wording, you must have contradicted yourself. Okay. What are the two statements that are so uncomfortable for who? Who's complaint? Who's whining in this sutra?
Mind onlyers?
Bodhisattva?
No, who asked this question?
Paramartha, the Bodhisattva Paramartha.
Yeah, Paramartha. Ultimate meaning. His name. No, he's irritated and he's confused, okay? And he says, Das Sorshak. If we take it literally, you're contradicting yourself, okay? So, what are the exact two phrases that contradict themselves? They're so contradictory they can be allergic. No, okay. First of all, you said which means what? You said
Nothing
in the world
has any nature of its own.
Yeah, now in Tibetan you say all existing things don't have any nature. And when you're a translator into English, you have to recast the sentence. Nothing in the universe has any existence, okay? You cannot translate it literally. It sounds ridiculous. Okay? Nothing in the universe has any nature. On the one hand. Now, what are we looking for? Something in the sentence which is?
The exact opposite.
And that's when you say the pungbos are rangi tseniki drupa.
Body and mind have their own nature by definition.
They have their definitions. They have their descriptions. They're real. They have definitions, which means they are definitive. They exist really. Okay. Now, where did he say that the 5 heaps have their definitions?
First turning of
Where
the
did Buddha say that? Huh? First turning of the wheel. But nowadays survives as the Abhidharma school. And then when did he say nothing has any nature of its own? When Heart Sutra Dhammakara Prajna Paramita, he said, so somebody's asking a question. In the early schools, you didn't even talk about emptiness. You just gave the definitions of stuff. In fact, you gave so many definitions, it was terribly boring, if I may say, because I spent 12 years on it, I can tell you. And then And then later you said that nothing has any nature of its own. That if we draw source shock, what's that mean? Yeah, if we take them on face value, you're saying two completely opposite things. Okay. And by the way, this should be fascinating for you because it's a question about all religion. What do you do when the founder of a religion contradicts themselves? What are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do? It's a heavy, heavy moral question. When the founder contradicts themselves, what are we supposed to do? This whole book is the answer to this basic religion question. And it's extremely important in all religions. Okay. All right. Who's next, Gibson? Who's going to suffer?
Anyone in the room?
They're all jumping up. It's hard to get them to sit down.
Okay.
Oh, Chloe Ma wants to come up. Okay. Galwa, slowly, clearly, move the cursor. Don't curse.
Okay. Galwa me gape chila gong ngowo ni me pa soksu song she di chi de ni rang ki teni yopa soksu song pa yang chila kong ne supatong ki sukso.
Nice. Great. Okay. And by the way, these sentences are extremely profound and important. Okay. Gawa me ge. When you're talking about an omniscient being, Gawa me ge.
They don't have any contradiction.
Yeah. It's gotta be that there's no contradiction. It has to be that there's no contradiction between giving the basic definitions of the skandhas and then later saying nothing has any nature of its own. You are defining the nature of the most basic stuff in the universe, physical matter, and then later you say nothing has any nature. Well, what are you talking about? It's like first you're a chemist and then you're on pot or something. Okay, what's wrong? But since you're the Buddha, Gawa me ge. Don't say okay. What's it mean? Gawa me ge. There has to be Gawa me. Yeah, it has to be that you did not contradict yourself. So Chile go. What were you thinking of? Like we trust you, we believe you, you're an omniscient being. It must be that you had some reason to say that. Chila gongne. What did you really have in mind? When you said no ni me.
Nothing have any nature of its own.
Nothing has any nature of its own. Chila gongne. What were you thinking of when you said nothing had any nature of its own? Chila gongne, etc. The other crazy things you said in the second turning of the wheel. Shung, the important word here is chi. What's chi?
Question.
He asked.
Question. To ask a question. Okay. What's Chilen?
Q&A.
Q&A.
It's Q&A. Okay. And there are some amazing Chilen texts. I'm thinking of one by Muchu Dharmbhadra. It's 150 Chilens. And I was sitting in Vajrapani Institute in a tent, and I broke them out into separate texts of 2 sentences each and put them in the database because it was a free-for-all Q&A. And that students were like, well, what about Vajrayogini's left toe? And then somebody else say, well, what about the Abhidharma thing? And then somebody else say, but what about that logic thing? And it was a crazy Chilen. So it's a very beautiful, somebody should write an essay about it or something. Somebody should teach a class about it. These ancient Chilens. This is a Chilen. What's this? Yeah, Donde Gongyo. What it really meant. It's a Chilen. it's students asking questions like, what's going on? Okay, it's nice. It's refreshing. It's not like a lecture. It's a very, how would you say?
Interactive.
It's nervous. It's tense. People are asking hard questions. Okay, so Loanyi Mepa, you said nothing exists. Chi, they're asking him, why'd you say that? Okay, Deni. Now listen, they say, okay, ready? You contradicted the hell out of yourself. Why? You said nothing has any nature. Is that a contradiction? No, not yet. He just said one thing. Nothing has any nature. Okay. And then so Kappa says, by the way, this question assumes that Lord Buddha also said that everything
Has a nature.
has a nature. And that's what he says in the next sentence. Deni Rangit Seniki Yupa Soksu Sumba Yang, meaning when the student says, you contradicted yourself because you said nothing has any nature, the assumption is he must have earlier said that things did have a nature, but he doesn't say that in the sutra. Nobody says that in the sutra. They just say you contradicted yourself. What? You said nothing exists. To have a contradiction, you got to say two things. You see, so Tsongkhapa is clarifying. He says, by the way, it assumes he said things do have a nature before that. Got it? Okay. Chila Gongni. So Dun Ki means by implication.
You contradict yourself.
By implication, they must also be referring to other teachings when he said things do have a nature. And Dun Ki is very important here. Two tiny syllables. You know, we are meant to understand from that word contradiction that Lord Buddha must have earlier said things do have a nature. Dun Ki, it's understood by the nature of the question. You contradicted yourself. What? You said nothing has a self-nature. It's understood he must have said things do have a self-nature before that. Got it? So Kappa is very delicate here. Okay. Okay. Now, interesting point. I'm going to break it up. And who do you want to read?
I think this one can.
Yeah, okay. Claire's going to choose the next victim.
Francisco.
Francisco, I just met a guy. We're really lucky to have the Guadalajara talented people here. I mean, except for one. Okay, please read these two lines. Dear.
Dirang Jit Sangi Chepa Ingaji Gre.
Nice.
Chengola
Sokle.
Latnut Mong Manipe Sangila Sapani Rikpamanite.
Okay, good. Now, listen. This was a very difficult sutra. It went north from India. It went to Mongolia. It went to central China. It went to West China. It went to Afghanistan. The sutra was very, very famous. And it banged into the Tang dynasty, which was a great intellectual movement, a center, and political. They had many foreign embassies in Xi'an, Chang'an, 1,400 years ago, something like that. And unbelievable. And there was, at that moment in London, there were 50,000 people living. And there was 1 million inside the walls of Chang'an. Inside the walls, okay? Meaning protected by the government, okay? So there were great, great, great scholars and great schools of translation. And there was, of course, the great wanderer Xuanzang. And he had a student named Yanse, whose real name is Wenzek, and he's Korean. But he came and studied in Chang'an, and he became Chinese, and he wrote in Chinese. And so he wrote a commentary on what the Buddha really meant. And it's 2 volumes. It's 2,000 pages. In English, it would be 16,000 pages of English. 16,000 pages of English, okay? It's unbelievable. And I went through it, and it's unbelievable. It would be beautiful to translate. I count 8 separate books you could make. And they are sexy. They are very beautiful and very amazing. You know, like there's a whole book on sky flowers or stuff. And, you know, so anyway, he wrote this commentary. It is the only native Chinese work that was allowed into the Tengyur. Everything else is native Sanskrit works. And 1% of the Tengyur, 2 of the 210 volumes were written originally in Chinese. And they were so respected that they were put in with the Chinese master, with the Indian masters' shastras. It became recognized as a shastra. And it's amazing. It's very unusual. So anyway, it would take like 50 years to translate. Anyway, that's called, say, Gyanak Delchen. Gyanak Delchen. Gyanak means big country where they wear black, as opposed to white. Gyakar, big country where they wear white. So Gyanak is the Tibetan word for China, and Gyagar is the Tibetan word for India. They're both Gya. They're both big countries. And then one where people wear black pajamas and where people wear white pajamas. Seriously. I mean, cotton clothing. So anyway, so that book by Master Yense, who's called Wen Seiken Tibetan, that's called Gyanak Delchen. Say Gyanak Delchen. The great Chinese commentary. And now you know why it's great. It's huge. It's massive. But Jetsun Kappa truly respects it. And but sometimes he'll say, I don't like this part. Sometimes he'll disagree with a small, tiny thing. But the fact that he's quoting it, he has not quoted another commentary yet. So he really, really respected it, and he used it a lot. And it's a beautiful commentary. I studied it, and it's great. So anyway, he has a point that of translation almost in the Chinese commentary, Yense's commentary, that he disagrees with. And usually when he disagrees with something, there's a deeper reason why he's doing it. So let's see. Rangitseni Chepa, in translations of the sutra, we see the expression, its definition. Rangitseni, its definition, okay? And when Yense explains that word, its definition, that phrase, its definition, he says its unique definition. He says when Buddha said its definition, or sorry, when the asker of the question says its definition, we are to understand it as its unique qualities. And Tsongkhapa says, no, I disagree with that, okay? So don't forget that Yense had to, and his teacher had to translate it into Chinese also, but they also had the Sanskrit, so obviously. So anyway, Tumo Mayin Betseni, Shepani, Rikma Mayin, it doesn't make sense. You shouldn't refer to definition here as unique defining quality. You can't read it that way, he says. You cannot read it as unique defining quality. In this question, you know, you gave the definitions of heat, skanda, right? And Yuan's interpretation almost makes sense, right? if the Buddha is really going to contradict himself, he should say on one hand, nothing has any nature of its own. And then on the other hand, at some point, he should say everything does have its own nature. So when Yentse wants to read nature as own nature, it's logical. It makes sense because it's supposed to contradict the statement that they have no nature. Got it? It makes sense that Master Yentse would say that, they said its own unique qualities or its own unique definition. Just the word definition doesn't contradict emptiness. Got it? Unique definition contradicts emptiness pretty nice. So Yentse said we have to understand it as unique definition, or unique qualities. Okay? He wants to say unique qualities contradicts emptiness. Buddha wants to say qualities contradicts emptiness. Very deep, very interesting. Okay? Let's see how he goes further. Francisco has to choose the next victim.
Let's go with Mike. He reads pretty well.
All right, Mr. Mike. You got to make the visitors work harder.
Round two.
We're at Donile. And it's, let me see if I can break this. Let's break it there just for fun. Okay.
Donile kunta ki kyapsurang gitseni ki drupa, the sawar sungpe chirdan.
Yeah. Donyi means what? Gibson, Donyi.
This very sutra, what I really mean?
Yeah, exactly. The sutra, capital T, which means here what I really meant. Okay. When it gets to the part called kuntak, imaginary. So there's three characteristics of the mind-only school. They are
Kuntak, Shenwa, Yumdru.
Yeah. And kuntak means imaginary things. Okay. Now, popular question in the study of this book is, do kuntaks exist?
There's two kinds of kuntaks, existent and non-existent.
Yeah, and it's important. I mean, the classical answer is, there are imaginary things that exist. I mean, democracy is especially imaginary. And so kuntak can mean a concept, which is not imaginary. Okay, so anyway, when they get, but so is the gakcha, is a classic kuntak. The thing that emptiness is empty of, that could never exist because it's crazy. A pen that comes from its own side is kuntak. It's in of the three categories of things that exist in the mind-only school, the pen that comes from its own side in the middle way interpretation would be kuntak. It's just something you made up in your head. It doesn't have real existence. But there are things you made up in your head that do have real existence, like democracy or fairness or stuff like that. Okay? Concepts. All right. So anyway, he says, Kuntaki Kapsu, when they got to the part about, what are the other two categories, by the way? There's imaginary things, then there's
Shenwang.
Shenwang, it's stuff which is at the mercy of other stuff, which means cause and effect things, because effects are at the mercy of causes. And then what was the third category?
Yongdrup.
Yongdrup, which is the fact mainly that cause and effects things don't have imaginary things. And that's what we call the equation. Start with cause and effect, subtract everything that you thought about it, that you made up in your head, and you reach emptiness. Okay, you reach ultimate reality, whose name in the mind-only school is sum of the equation, Yongdu. Okay, very beautiful. Okay, anyway, when they got to the imaginary stuff, they talked about Ranki Seniki Drupa. when they use the word definition in this sutra, it's always in the sense of something belongs to the category of kuntaks,
Okay.
imaginary things, which means things that don't exist, just in your head, okay? Which means, listening, in this sutra, when they say senyi, which means definition, they're not talking about senyi. They're talking about existing by definition, which is imaginary. Got it? Definitions are not imaginary. They're real stuff. The definition of sound, for example, anything you can hear with your ear, that's real. That's not a kuntak. In fact, that's a shenwang. Okay? So Tsongkhapa corrects Yinsa. He says, look, when they use the word definition in the sutra, they're always talking about things that exist by definition, which don't exist. Okay, so don't confuse your readers by saying definition means the unique quality a thing has that defines it, because that's not the way they use the word in this sutra. Got it? It's by definition, not definition. Cool. It's interesting. And it's interesting that irritated Tsongkhapa enough to mention it in his opening pages, because he really respects Xuanzang, and it's unusual that he respects anyone that much. And he does refer, when he refers to Xuanzang, he refers to him with kind of honor or something. You can sense that he really respects him.
Yeah. Is this word coming from the Sanskrit?
Yeah, probably Lakshana. Yeah. Difficult.
Yeah.
Difficult. Yeah. Okay. All right. Who's next, Uncle Mike?
Check.
Jacqueline, did you say? Hang on, we got a reader coming. They're so excited, they just can't stand up fast. Okay. Last sentence. Kuntak Laang.
Kuntak Laang Tunmang Mayin Pe Son Che.
Good.
Yopatan Ni Go
Oh,
Wo
Nyo.
Nyo Wo Ni Me Pa Kuntak La She Du Mi Rung Wei Kyon Du Your Wei Chiro.
Yeah, nice. Very nice. Okay. This is a tough sentence. Let me ask you something. If we talk about the third category of things, which is imaginary things, some of which exist and some which don't exist, democracy and self-existent thing. Okay. Which one don't exist? We can talk about it. But kuntak means imaginary thing. Do you think definitions play a part in that category of stuff?
Yeah. The lack of definition.
Yeah. I mean, you can define democracy, for example. Okay. The kuntaks which exist, the imaginary things which exist, they all have definitions. You can define them in words. You can say, a country where the law is respected by all individuals or something. Okay. There is such a thing. That concept has a definition. Therefore, kuntaks, even though they are ideas, can have definitions. Okay, got it? And do those definitions define them? Yeah, and by the way, the one of the characteristics of a definition is that it shouldn't fit other things. You see what I mean? Like, I don't know, if you define a fruit in a certain way, it shouldn't fit rocks. Or, you see what I mean? It should be unique to that thing. Okay, so he says tumo mayimba, sunche. So sun means to mark something. It's a verb from seni. Okay, seni means definition. Sun means that thing which characterizes another thing. Okay, so can imaginary things be characterized? Yeah, So do they have definitions? So would the Buddha deny that would the Buddha deny that there were imaginary things when he said nothing exists by definition?
No.
No.
He wouldn't. He would not have said that. So that's why Tsongkhapa feels he can correct the Yinzi. Okay, you know, be careful how you define definition, because you may not get it right in our context. Okay, cool. It's very delicate and very beautiful. I mean, you could have a 2-hour teaching about it. It's amazing.
But
okay.
again,
so look, yeah, Kuntaks have unique definitions. They have unique characteristics. Even the ones that don't exist have unique characteristics. There's a definition of Gacha. Okay.
But,
all right.
Yes. Don't we have to make a distinction between something having a definition and existing by definition?
Exactly. That's what Tsongkhapa is struggling with here. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. And we even have it in English. There's a big difference between saying something has a definition and saying it exists by definition. By definition means in and of itself, which is self-existent. Yeah. Okay, cool. Very, very beautiful. I mean, already Tsongkhapa is shoving you down into the deep water. Okay. And this book is very short, 50 pages, but it's deep water. Okay, cool. So if according to your definition of definition, it should not be applicable to imaginary things, but it is. Yense, the way you want to read definition, it should not be applicable to imaginary things, but we can define imaginary things. Therefore, your idea of what Buddha meant in this sutra when he said by definition is not by a written definition. It just means in and of itself. Got it? As it is in English, it's a confusing phrase in English. By definition doesn't mean through a definition. It means in and of itself, from its own side. That's what by definition means. Got it? Good? You okay? All right. Everyone's nodding here, foolishly. All right, let's mark where we stopped. Stopped here. 2, 3, 25. And Gibson, can you work on the next? To be honest, I'd rather you translate this thing that starts with Dangmoni.
Okay.
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 That's more fun. That's more important for us. Okay. And if you're in a good mood, you can check the Kangir down here and see if it matches. The big letters here. Okay.
Okay.
Good.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. I don't know. You look excited. I can tell. All right. Okay. I think this is a good thing to do when you're sleepy from Bali vacation. Okay. And wake you up. All right. And thank you for your other book. It's going to be beautiful. And it's going to be very important for people. I'll put a seed in your head, Gibson. So you just finished a short Lamrim by Jetson Kappa called Song of My Spiritual Life. And we have translated 2 others by him with commentaries. And they're very popular. And by the way, our printer there in Taiwan wants these books. We offered her those big fat philosophy books, and she said, no, I want the little sexy books that you put in your purse. So somebody has to take the manuscript to her and show it to her and say, here we go, here's the next one. Okay, understand?
Okay.
And then I have a fantasy, it would be nice to make a book called 3 Lamrims and put the 3 small ones into a real mixed nuts book. You see what I mean? This is an old publishing principle where you sell the same book twice. Just kidding, but I think it'd be cool. I think it'd be cool to put his 3 short lamrims in one volume, and that would be a more substantial volume. That'd be, and also put it out as a separate small book that you could put in your purse. Cool. All right. See you later, alligator.
Thank you, Geshe. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay.
Good to see you.
I'm gonna go eat dinner.
Me too.
Right.
Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you, Nick. Nick, you look great. The surfing is making you look handsome. I wish I could surf, but anyway. Okay.
We got a board here for you.
Right. Yeah, in my spare time, I'll be there. Okay.
Bye, everybody. Good night, good evening, good morning. Have a great
Say good night to Aaron. Okay.
Bye, Will.
Bye. Okay.